So comments, okay. So in C++, we can use the comment using the two backslashes, just like we used to do in C programming. The comments can be two types. We can use a single line comment. You can use multiple line comments. Now the question is, now we know that if we use, so if this is the line, if we use this two, this will comment out, okay. Or like if I want to write, so this line prints the following line. So this is a printf. Okay, so you can add comments for different reasons. Okay, you can add comments for so that you remember your code, or like if there is a complex part of the code, okay, that you don't understand, you can comment it out there. Or there is one thing that I personally use it for. So whenever like I'm developing a project, sometimes, you know, programmers, we actually take help from the internet a lot, because there are a lot of things that sometimes we get stuck on, very simple things. So what we do, we basically, whenever we copy a portion of the code that we find on the internet, we, after 1 or 2 months, we actually don't remember like why I copied this code. So we actually comment this one down. So this is a code I copied from this website for this reason. So this is depends on the developer to developer, whoever writing the code. And there's another use of the code, like if whenever you are working on a huge program, okay, like 10,000 line to 20,000, like 1 lakh lines, okay, whenever you're using a huge program, what we do, we first use we use the comments so that every part of the code is understandable. So if you are like a new programmer who just joined the company and suddenly you open a 10,000 line of code, if you see the comments, you can step by step understand that why they are for. So anyway, these are the some basic reasons of using comments in C++ in any programming languages. And again, comments are of two types. One is single line comment, that using the double slash symbol, or you can use a multiple line comment. And to multiple line comment, this is the syntax. See, slash star slash star. So it will use a multiple line comment. So if I go back to the program, our program here, so if I want to comment out all of this, okay, if I use a single line comment, I have to use this, this. So this is actually difficult, right? So many things I have to. But if I use a multi-line comment, that is / star, and then let's say I want to keep the return 0. So star /. So you see all of this will be commented out. So multi-line comments is sometimes it becomes easier. Okay. So I'm removing all this. Now let's go back to the code. So we know what is a comment about. Okay. Now about the variable type. So we know that we have different data types like integers, we have floats. Each of them have different types of amount of memory, type of data they can store. Like integer can store the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Float can store decimal numbers 1.1, 1.2. Characters can store A, B, C, D, and so on. So each of the numbers have their own data type. Okay, each of the each of the variables are designed for their own data types. They have a limitations of what is the range of values you can put. Like if I talk about numbers, what is the limitation of a number? Okay, so like if I go back to the program to use it this space, so this is a number. Okay, then this is also a number, this is also a number. So what is the limitation? Okay, so like if I declare integer, so how much he should be able to store? I can go on like this, right? You know this. So for this, okay, we actually have a different types of integer. So integer stores numbers, but in the between integers, it can be a small integer like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be a huge integer like 1 billion, 2 billion. Okay, so for this we have different types of integer. For small numbers, we have just normal integer int, that is this one, integer variable. And for the large numbers, we have long integer. Okay, so here it is here somewhere. Let me just yeah, here long variable. So it can store a long integer number. So depending on which type of integer or which type of number you need to use, you will use different type of integer. So like if I ask you to store the price of a product, you will use a normal integer, because the price of the product will be should be between a normal integer. But if I ask you to store the difference between Andromeda galaxy and the nearest galaxy, okay, this in that case you will need a long variable, because the distance is in light years, is a couple of million light years. So if I just convert it to normal time, okay, it is a huge integer. And then we have this character variables, character constants. And you let me just talk about one thing here. You already know all of this. So every character you see in your keyboard, has a ASCII value. So if you just search on the Google ASCII table, you will see for every character we have a corresponding ASCII value. And then we have these are some of the codes. Let me run them into the compiler and so that you can see. Where is it? Yeah, so this is a code for normal variable. So again, we have these two directives: preprocessor, IO stream, then using namespace, integer main. Then you see I have declared a variable equals to 20. Okay, let me just modify this. Okay, so first I have declared two variables, just same as C programming. Okay, then assigned value. One is directly I have assigned value, another is variable plus 10, same as C programming. Then I have just, this line is different. Okay, so we have used console output and then this operator, okay, that will print the value. And here we have just added this two number. So how this is different? First of all, the console output is different. This one is different, but also you see in this part one, these two, this is a comment and then the variable two. So we are actually directly printing the values. So if I run the program, what do you think the output will be? It will first take variable equals to 20, then it will add 20 plus 10, 30, and then it will print console output variable 1 plus 10 is variable 2. So let's see what the output is. Now you see that, let's keep them side by side. It will be easier for you to see. So I think it's clear. Can you see it, the fonts? I guess so, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
so variable 1, you see here what we have written variable 1, okay, but in the print what we can, variable 1 plus 10, okay, but then in this one we can see variable 2, but instead of variable 2 it's showing 30. So what is the difference? The difference is if you write a variable name inside this two quotation, it will be treated as a string or as a line. Same way we print the hello world. So this way the variable 1 plus 10 is still variable 1 plus 10. But here we didn't use any quotation. Okay, so it was treated as a variable and then it gave the value 30. So if I just use a quotation here and if I run the program again, let me close this one and run the program again. You see now it's actually printing variable 2 instead of printing 30. And if I remove the quotation, then it will again print 30. So I hope you understand the difference. So these are very simple things. I know you know it, but I'm just repeating in case of some of your friend don't have the clear idea. Then let's go for the next one. Code number 4. So you see first here again, we take the directives, then integer main. Now we work with the character variables. So we declare character variable 1, that is A, character variable 2, that is T. Okay. Then we console output this variable. So it will print character variable 1, that is A. Then we assign B. Okay. It will print B. So if I run the program, it will print A and B. You see, I have run the program. Sorry. So it has printed A and B. Now, if I console output this line, okay. So the one thing I want to see you that you see this is a /t, that means this is a tab, right? So when I used this print and this print, it printed A and B. It didn't print, but if I run the program again, you see here, instead of printing /t, it is printing a tab. So some of the characters, they have actually special purpose in our program. Just like in the C programming, we had \n. What did it do? It printed a new line. But in this one, what it does, you see, it prints a tab. Now, some part of the program, we have this special reasons. So these are the characters. So \n we use for new line, /r we for return, /t for tab, and so on. Now there is that operator that is called escape sequence that you know and that we will use. So what it does, that I am giving a challenge that, hey students, what you do, I want you to, instead of printing a tab between this, okay, instead of printing a empty space between A and B, I want you to print /t. That means I want to see T here. In that case, what you can do, so I am asking you to print T /t. So in that case, we use this double slash, and let's run the program. Let's see whether it works or not. You see, if I use double slash, in that case the T is printed. So this is called escape sequence. That means if you have this special commands that slash T equals to tab, slash N equals to new line. Okay, so if you want to print those for some purpose, okay, in that case we have to use another extra slash, and this is called escape sequence. So just go through this once, you will understand the topic. Very simple. Okay, so same goes for comments as well. So these are the basic things we all have already know. Same as integer, we have float type. We can take float numbers as input. Okay, so this is let's run this program. This is a simple program that actually takes two variables and print the result. Let me open a new code. So let me give some spaces. Yeah, let me run the program. I think it should 5 dots. Okay, so if you copy the code directly from the book, sometimes you might have some errors. These are actually syntax error. Don't worry about that. So just change the quotation. Okay, it will work. Same goes for here as well. The quotation in the book and the quotation in the programming compiler doesn't match sometimes. Yeah. So now let's see what was the program first, then we'll discuss. The program again started with the basic two directives, then integer main. Then what it does, it actually takes a float variable, float radius, then it use a const float pi. So what is this const? So if you want to make sure that some part of the program will not change, okay, we can use this const. Okay, this is also a feature that we will discuss later. But let's assume for now we have this float pi. The const is not needed. So pi is a variable. Then I asked you to enter the radius of the circle. Let's assume the circle is radius is 2. So it will print the area. So this is a very simple program where you take an input and print the output. But what is to notice here is that first thing is in here that using console output and cin, we didn't need to use %d or %c. Okay, it automatically, the compiler understood that this will be a float and it took float. Then we calculated the area using this and then we printed this. So very simple program that shows how to do take the basic input. So you see this is input is taken in this way, cin and the variable name. So if I give you a sample programs like this that take 2 numbers as input, 3 numbers, 10 numbers, you will be able to use it. So let's close the program and go to the next one. So then we have this type double, long double, same that sometimes you need to use a huge decimal number. In that case, we use long double. Then floating point constants, directive. So, and this is bool. So this is also we need something we will use. So bool is all data type that have only 2 type of option, either true or false. So if you want to, in some program, if you want to return only 0 or 1, okay, in that case, you can use this data type. Okay, instead of using integer, you can use bool. It will be easier to handle and it takes less amount of memory to store. And you see the integer can have billions of values, okay, but this boolean only have 2 values, zeros and ones. So read through this para, it will be very clear.